What's up, everybody? My name is David.
And I'm Manny, and today it's starting to get a little chilly outside here in Florida, so we're going to talk about what we do during this time of the year once it starts getting cold with our animals, brumating, and with our outdoor animals, so stay tuned.
Alright guys, so we do keep all of our day geckos outside, except for some of the babies when they hatch. But what's important to know about keeping day geckos outside, especially in a state like Florida where, you know, we're warm pretty much all year round. We do get 1 week here and there that are really cold. When it starts to drop below 50 degrees, we do like to bring all of these guys inside. So it's important to know that if it does get colder in your area, that, you know, if the overnight lows start to drop below 50 degrees, you're going to want to take your cages and have somewhere inside where you could put them. That way they're not going to have to withstand that really cold temperature. Honestly, a lot of these day geckos could withstand it up into the 40 degrees and stuff, but we obviously don't want to stress them out that much. So if it gets in the 40 degrees, anything below 50 degrees we like to bring inside. Now, it's also important to keep in mind that day geckos and a lot of the animals that we keep indoors, they could handle these cold temperatures, but they are going to slow down. They're not going to be eating as much. They're not going to be as active. So if you start to see your animal slow down or it's not eating as much, don't worry, it's completely normal. Basically all reptiles do that, even the ones that are being kept indoors. So if you follow me, we're gonna go take a look of our Cayman lizard out here. He's actually just basking here in the sun because where he is in his enclosure, it doesn't get the best sun. So we open this up and let him bask in the wood. And actually, we temp gun this wood, and it's about, let's see right now, about 96 degrees. So this is awesome if you have animals outdoors, that, especially when it gets really cold at night. It got into like 59 degrees last night, so he needs to warm up during the day. They can handle that as long as they can warm up during the day. You know, you don't want it to be, you know, 50 degrees through the night and the day. You don't want to put them through that. So if they can warm up through the day, they're going to be able to handle that a lot better. And as you can see, this guy here, he is just basking. Nothing can bother him. He's like in his little spa right now, soaking up all the sun that he can. And so usually he's pretty like defensive, or he doesn't like when we pet his tail, but right now he's just like, I can't be bothered, I'm just gonna stay here. So that's our Cayman lizard. He is chilling right now. And another thing that's important to know when you're keeping animals outdoors, or in general when you're gonna brumate animals, is that you don't want them to have too much food inside of their system. So for example, let's say this guy, we actually did feed him yesterday, but typically if it's going to be a long string of days that it's going to be really cold, you don't want them to have that food inside of them because they're not going to be able to digest it. So even with bearded dragons, blue-tongued skinks, when you're going to brumate them, before you turn off the heat and you put them completely into brumation, you want to make sure they're not being fed for a couple days so they could get everything out of the system. You don't want anything to be in there and rot in there, because then you can have your animal pass. So make sure that you get all the food out of their system. Don't feed them for a couple of days before they go into brumation, and trust me, these guys can handle it. Their metabolism starts to slow down and they just kind of like go to hibernation mode for a couple weeks or months, depending on what species it is. And for those days that are really extremely cold, some days, believe it or not, it will get into the 40s down here in Florida. So what we do with these guys is we take them inside. Obviously we can't bring this big enclosure inside, so what we do is we get like a tub. We make sure we have some like holes in there so they could breathe, and we put some hay or something to help them keep warm, and we'll bring them inside. And we do that for all the animals that are kept outdoors that can't handle these temperatures, because remember guys, these guys are reptiles. He is from South America, so typically doesn't get into the 40s where he's from in the Amazon, but yeah, sometimes you just gotta make shift with what you got. Luckily here in Florida it doesn't get too cold, so we don't have to do that so many nights. Another thing you could do if you have outdoor animals is kind of like put a basking light out there for them with a extension cord, or they sell these heat mats that are for the outdoors. Zoomet sells them. You can have a hide box for them where they could go inside and it will seal the heat in there. We're gonna be bringing you more of that information in the future as we have to build more outdoor cages and all that stuff. But it's just good to know, just ideas if you do have animals outdoors or you want to and you want to know how to keep them outdoors.
So you gotta carry her thick ass over.
Yes. Oh my gosh, she's gonna. All right, guys. So the tortoises are also something that we have to take in consideration. What we typically do with the tortoises is we'll get big bundles of hay and we come out here and we put it all around their hide, and we even put some hay inside their hide. That way it gets really nice and cozy in there, and the hay keeps them warm. It's just, you know, one of the best things to do, especially when you have outdoor animals, whether you're keeping tegus, whether you're keeping tortoises or any other big iguanas. We haven't showed you guys these guys yet, but we actually got two big sulcata tortoises. They're about 4 years old, and they were actually surrendered by a very nice lady that's out here in South Florida in Boca, and she couldn't take care of them anymore. They were getting too big. They were destroying her screen patio cage, so we decided to take them from her and give them a good home. So I want to introduce you to them. So this is one of them. You can see he is a very good size, and of course sulcata tortoises are the third largest tortoise in the world, so this is nowhere near the full size of this animal. This tortoise will get about this big, and they can live upwards of 50 years, even like 70 years. So it's really important that these guys are, you know, kept very warm during the winter, because they are from Africa, and typically they don't get these type of really cold temperatures. Not that Florida is really cold, but you get the point. So this is one of them. The other one is probably in right here. And as you guys know, this was our old tegu cage, but now it's the sulcata tortoise cage for now until we move to the new property. Anyways, this is David and this is Henry. These are the names that the lady gave them. They're pretty heavy, actually. You can see David's a little bit bigger, but they're awesome animals. And wanna say hi? And yeah, they definitely need a lot of room, and they need a very well thought out enclosure, because they dig and they can go through everything. They're bulldozers. So that'll be a project for a later video. Alright guys, so that's how we keep our outdoor animals during the winter. That's what we have to do with them. Now we're gonna go show you how we brumate our blue-tongued skinks and how long they're actually brumating for. You are one pretty girl, Lilo. Alright guys, before we talk to you about brumating blue-tongued skinks, we want to let you know about our big Black Friday sale that is this Friday, obviously the day after Thanksgiving, the biggest holiday in America. We're having 50% off all our crested geckos, 50% off all our gargoyle geckos. We're having 20% off our blue-tongued skinks, 20% off our lychees, chahuas, leopard geckos, and everything else on the website, including our merch. So be sure to check it out. This is the one-day sale, so it's only going to be live for 24 hours, 12 a.m. Thursday night up to 11:59 p.m. on Friday. So if you're looking to get some big savings, make sure you go to our website, check it out. And now over to the blue-tongued skinks.
Alright guys, this is the most boring part of the year for blue-tongued skink keepers and breeders, but it's actually one of the most, if not the most important to successful breeding. Brumating. This is when these animals slow down. So in the wild, when their temperatures start going down into like the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, these animals are gonna find a warm spot, burrow into, and just stay there until the climate starts getting warmer. And then once they wake up, they start getting warmer, they're gonna get a couple meals in, and then that's when all the breeding starts. So what we do in preparation before brumation, so I always keep a lookout on the weather when it's actually gonna start getting cold. In Florida, that is a lot later than most places in the United States. For us, normally brumation starts around November, late November, early December. Now what I do is I naturally start putting the heat tape or the heat racks or whatever, you know, heat source we're using, start gradually turning it down weeks before. So I'll put it down 5 degrees 1 week, and then the next week another 5 degrees, and then just gradually start cooling the temperatures. And once we really get that first cold front is when I kind of shut them all down. Now, and like David mentioned earlier, like about a week or two before we start shutting down the blue tongues, I will stop feeding them completely or feed them very little. Why? You want them to have an empty stomach. You don't want them to be brumating with anything in their stomach that can rot in their stomach and can cause animals to die. So that's why at least a week before, I won't feed them anything. Now, as you can also see, I also got like this black what is this called?
like
tablecloth. Black tablecloth. I couldn't think of the word. But the reason I have that is because also during these times of the year, there's less light. In the wintertime, I think, what is it, like 6 to 8 hours of actual light compared to summer, which is more like 8 to 10 hours. So that's another thing that helps them start brumating. Here in Florida, it doesn't get cold for very long. So it's very important for me to cut off a lot of the light. So it simulates brumation for them, and I've actually had a lot of success with this. Now, one thing you also want to do is I'm going to show you in these enclosures themselves. What you're going to want to do is make sure they always have water, because blue tongues don't completely shut off. They don't hibernate, they brumate. So they are still awake, as you can see. They'll get up, they'll take a drink, and then they'll hide again. As you can see here, I like to put a lot of mulch in here so they can burrow. And this year we actually bought a lot of hay, as you saw with the tortoises, so I started shoving some of that in here. Why? It's easier for them to burrow into, and they'll just start shutting down like that and sleeping like this most of the day. Another thing is, since northern, you got to also think about the species you're working with. These are mainly going to be northern blue-tongued skinks. It doesn't get freezing cold in the northern territory of Australia. So what I do is I set the heat racks to about 60 degrees. Why? If it gets colder than that, the heat rack's gonna turn on, kick in, and make sure it doesn't get too cold where it's dangerous for this species. Let me show you guys another one. So as you can see, this guy is already just completely shut down. I do this with all my adults. I also started doing this with my holdbacks, of that year. So this year would be 2021. As you can see right here is where my 2021 holdbacks are. The reason I started doing that is because I've noticed that they brumate a lot better their second year. I don't breed female northern blue-tongued skinks until their second year. And some people, you can breed them in 1 year, you know, if you get them big enough, fast enough, but I don't like to rush them. I think it's better for them long term. They do have more babies. They produce a lot better for a lot longer. So I started brumating my yearlings, and when it comes to their second year, they brumate a lot better. You see, when their first brumation happens with northern blue tongues, and probably honestly a lot of other different species of reptiles, they're awake a lot, they're moving around a lot, they're kind of confused on what's going on. And I noticed these guys are 2020 babies, so you can see this is going to be their first year breeding this season coming up, and you can see these guys are completely down. They're not getting up, they're not wandering everywhere. They're shut down. And right now it's probably what, like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., it's the middle of the day. So these guys are just completely shut down.
Yeah, and when they start waking back up, you'll actually start to hear the males scratch and just be moving and being very, very, you know, trying to be very social with the ladies.
Yeah, so that's something I actually noticed, and that's something like I actually wait for. So I don't, some people like to, you know, cool their guys on this day and then wake them up on this day every year. For me, what's worked is kind of listen to what the animals are telling you. Once I start seeing the animals start going, you know, less food, less active, I know, hey, they're starting to get ready for brumation. And then like David mentioned, once like they start waking up, the males usually wake up first, and then you'll start hearing this. And every single male cage, the males are just going to be scratching at the front of the cage, trying to get out. They smell the females. All they want to do is breed. So all they're going to try to do is get out all day. So once I start hearing that, it's like, okay, some of these males are starting to wake up. They're ready. Let me try to pair them up with some females. And then basically from there on, I'm trying every day to breed.
And a quick point that I forgot to mention out there too, that you kind of mentioned, was we leave water. Oh. I saw you. We leave clean water in there for them. They do go off of food, but we do want to provide fresh water just in case they do happen to wake up and they want to get a drink.
Yeah. So this is basically what we do. For us, brumation lasts for about a month, you know, if we're lucky, just because it doesn't stay cold in Florida. And like I said, they'll start waking up naturally, so there's nothing really I can do too much about it. And I've had great luck just listening to my animals. Just, you know, when they're telling me it's time to wake up and breed, I let them, you know, wake up and breed. I know other parts of the country, they'll brumate for like 3 months. I wish we could do that here, but we just really can't get away with that. And as you guys know who breed blue tongues, or people who want to breed blue tongues, their windows are very short. So once they start showing that they want to breed, you got to get on it. You got to pair them up, because their window might last 1, 2, 3 weeks, you know, depending on the male, 4 weeks max, you know. So once you have a very small window, so you really want to not miss that window, because if you do miss that window, that animal's not going to breed for you, and then you're going to have to try again next year. So very important to listen to your animals and just be ready for when they wake up after brumation.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. That's basically it. Wake up, feed, breed. Boom. All right, guys, that is a wrap for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. And if you like all of our content, make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have all of it: Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We got it all. We post individual content on every single one. So make sure you guys check it out.
Yeah, and one more time, Black Friday is this Friday, so make sure you don't miss it. Email subscribers will get a special discount code tonight, Wednesday night. They will get the discount code. So if you want an early bird access to our website deals, make sure you're an email subscriber. On the homepage, scroll down right there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We are excited for the new year. We are excited for Black Friday. We are excited for the move, and we're bringing you along with us. So if you need anything, let us know. We are here at your service for anything. So I'll see you guys in the next one.
Check us out for the best Black Friday deals around and real sales.